Hello, welcome to The Purpose Effect, the space where we get honest, we get intentional, and we get aligned with the purpose God designed us for. I am Alesha, and my mission is simple to help you stop floating through life and start living with purpose, clarity, and action. So, today is Monday after Thanksgiving. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know for us it was a little crazy and chaotic here, but it was spectacular. We had over, almost 60 people here. It was crazy. It was loud, but it was amazing. We had lots of family and lots of friends that have become family. And it was just a powerful, powerful day. And here's what I love. I grew up in a family, just a little bit about me. I grew up in a family. There's nine of us kids. Now, there's six of us biological kids that we had three girls and three boys. And then we're all in our mid 40s down to our mid 30s. All of us are married and have kiddos. And then we have three adopted siblings that are as young as 14 up to 20. And so it's fun. It is just an amazing time when you get us all together. But here's what's super cool is so growing up, my mom did an amazing job with traditions. And I don't know about you guys, but traditions has become a very, very important thing in my family. And so we start traditions off with going tree hunting. Now, when I say we go tree hunting, we go tree hunting. We shoot down our Christmas tree. We live in the Black Hills of South Dakota, and so there's trees everywhere. So I think it's like $14 for a tree permit. We spend the morning tree hunting. This year it was a little unusual because there was no snow, which I'm not going to complain. It was beautiful. I'm going to take it, right? So it was super fun. And then we go to a little pizza place and do that every year. And what's really cool when we go to this place, Guy, is just amazing. We just do it once a year because like it's just so special, right? So we don't want to go any other time, which sounds silly. And he plays the accordion and it's just cool. It's so much fun. So that really starts all of the traditions leading into Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then we do, of course, Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving morning, I always watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade while I make monkey bread, and everybody comes over. And my husband and I have hosted Thanksgiving for, last 7 or 8 years. And usually there's about 30 to 40 people. But this year, since we moved into our new home, it can fit a lot more people. And so it was amazing. It was a great time just spending time with family, lots of laughter, lots of giggles, and it's really neat to watch the cousins. So there's 21 cousins on my side of the family for our kids. And so it is busy and fun, and all of them get along really well. And so yeah, it's just great. And then we go Black Friday shopping. Now, when we go shopping, it's not like we need anything. In fact, this year we hardly bought anything. I was very proud of us, but we just go more because it's fun. We laugh, we have a good time, and we are very intentional on blessing people when we are out and about. We are very intentional on just loving on people. So we hand out candies and I don't know, it's just really cool. And then um yeah, then we just spend the weekend just relaxing, and it was just really cool. This year we had the privilege of having my co-host David and his wife and his mother-in-law here, and that was really cool just to be present with them and soak it up, and just to get to know them more. And yeah, it's just amazing. So here's then what I've been thinking the last couple of hours, especially this morning, is I'm thinking about, okay, I got to hop on and do the podcast for Monday. And I just thought, oh, I've just sort of been in a weird funk. Does anybody ever feel that? Do you ever feel that like, man, you just get in this funk and you want to get out of it and you just, here's what normally happens. And here's what I've done in the past. And here's what I'm doing differently. So I'm going to walk you through this because I think this pertains really well to this time of year because I know I'm not the only one who can get into these weird, funky blues. Now, it is not, I'm going to separate. It is not, I'm not talking about depression or anything like that because that's going to be a very different thing. I have struggled with that on and off for many, many years. So we're not talking about depression. That's not where we're going. What I'm talking about today is just this weird funk. Like, I don't have any motivation. I don't want to do anything. Oh, and you just want to go through that. Here's the powerful thing, and here's what I want you guys to learn as we continue to dig into the purpose effect, as we continue to live a life of intention, is one of the first key steps is to create awareness. And in order to grow, in order to change, you have to recognize that change needs to occur. You have to be able to sort of almost, I don't want to say backpedal if that's the right word, but you have to be able to reflect, go, ooh, I got to do some shifting. And how do I do that? And how do I walk it out then as you become aware of the areas that you need to change and then live it with purpose? Now, one of the things, so like I said, the last couple of weeks, I've just been in this weird, like weird funk. Now I have, not to say I'm not enjoying things like amazing, soaking things up, loving things, but there's not that 100% passion that I will oftentimes feel. So here's the thing. I've been really just creating this awareness, going, okay, what's going on? And I've been digging deep and I've been processing it. And I'm not just taking it. And this is where I want you guys to understand the power of living life with intention is normally most of us, we would just have this feeling come up. And in the past, I would just sit in it. And I would just hope that it would eventually go away. Now, most of the time it would. Sometimes it would take longer than others. Eventually, it would maybe go. But what I want you guys to understand the power of is when you live with intention and when you start looking at being aware of things, you can speed up the process because you're always going to have these highs and these lows. You're always going to have this, oh, this is awesome, life is great, and you're going to have this little funk. That's normal. It's very, very normal. But you get to control how long you stay in it and how severe or how low you go in it by the response that you take with it. And the first step is to begin to go, okay, I feel it coming. So I've been very aware of it. I've been very sensitive to it. And so this morning, the biggest thing for me is just being very honest with the Lord. That's a big, big thing, right? So as you've created awareness, now it begins the conversations. Now it's going, okay, now you got to dig deep and you got to go, what is causing it? And it's slow. I don't know about you guys. Oftentimes these downhill slopes, it's sort of slow. Now, if you stay in it, it can accelerate fast, but it usually is just this slow little thing. For me, here's some key things. I'm going to be super vulnerable with you guys today. This is me. This is real. I'm taking you guys on this journey with me. I am nowhere near like, ooh, I've mastered living a life of purpose and intention. I am nowhere near that. You are going to very quickly find that I am just a work in progress and I am just where you're at as well. Maybe just a few steps ahead. And so just know that I'm going to be vulnerable with you. But what For me, what I notice is the things that begin to shift are I go from listening to worship music all the time and really spending a lot of time in prayer and spending a lot of time in the Word to where, like, one day I'm just like, I'm just, you know what, today I'm a little busy. I'm a little preoccupied. I have other things on my plate. So I'm not, I don't have, I might not get into the Word today. Or, you know what? I, um, I'm just gonna tough it out and I'm gonna just sit here and not even think about anything. I'm not even gonna pray. I'm just not even gonna think. Or you know what? Like this time of year, I like to listen to Christmas music. So instead of listening to worship music and getting in God's presence, I'm just listening to Christmas music. So it's very subtle. It's very subtle. And for me, that's when I begin to feel that shift. And what would happen is in the past, I would hit that and I would not even realize it. And it would be last times, a couple months later that I go, ooh, I've not been in a good spot for a little while. But what I'm doing is I'm shifting to where I begin to recognize it within a few days, sometimes even within a day. That's what I want you guys to work towards is creating a level of awareness that when you're in these really great spots, you recognize it, you know what it's like, you know what it feels like. And for some of you, it might, you might not have had this for a very long time. In fact, you might not even know what it's like. So we're going to work towards that. What does that look like? So the longer you follow me, you'll learn tips and tools of how to dig into that purpose and that what that feels like. So you might not even know what it feels like to be up here, to really be walking out such purpose and intention, but it's creating those simple levels of awareness. And it's going to, it's a process. Please know that this is not something that any of us will master overnight. Some of us, it will take longer than others. Sometimes we might be a little slower learners, but it is so powerful. So what I've noticed in this as I've been creating this awareness that very quickly I've noticed, ooh, I've been in this little funk. And then this morning, I was really honest with the Lord. And I think this is where oftentimes it begins to it can go pretty fast of this downhill if you're not aware and sensitive to it. But before I got down there, I finally realized, okay, God, here's what's going on. And I had to get really vulnerable and honest with the Lord. Just a quick picture of where we're at with things with my family and all that. So we bought this place 6 months ago. We put our other house on the market 7 months ago. Our other house is still not sold. So we're paying double everything right now. And that's like, I'm staying in peace and I keep claiming it, but every once in a while, worry and anxiety want to slip in. And as we're working on trying to sell our other house, as we are moving along, we're developing off 12 lots and like about 20 acres of 76 acres. And our goal had been to have it done and we would start selling lots in the fall. Mind you, we're almost in winter. It's December. We're not even close. Not even close. The bids are coming back higher than we planned. And throughout this process, I've kept saying really like, God, I just trust you. I give you peace. But here's where things will come in is like, I can feel it starting to really pull at me. And I can feel this anxiety wanting to come in. Now, how often do you feel that with different things? Where you feel that anxiety and that, well, God, but you said this and now it's not turning out the way you planned. And here's where I want to encourage you guys of where the shift or the change can occur is there are a few routes that you can go. You can either ignore it and just be like, it's not there. I'm not stressed. I'm not worried at all. Like, get over it. Like, no, I'm delusional. And we can avoid it. Or we can all of a sudden just let it come in and take us over, and we can just sit in this absolute anxiety and fear and almost then just say, God, I don't trust you. And we can turn our backs on him. Now, I know that there's a lot of you that have done this where you've said, God, you promised me this, and now you're not doing it, and I'm turning my back on you. And some of us we can go on this journey and we can make it so far, and some of us right away we want to say, God, and curse them out, or we can go into months and then curse them out. So there's the other option, or what you do is you have this, you share with God now, because you will find we are not talking about just a shallow relationship with the Lord. When I talk about having an intimate relationship with the Lord, I am talking about actively communicating with him, actively seeking him, actively getting to know him. And so there's this balance that you must learn. And I'm saying you must learn this in order to really walk it out, is to say, God, I need to be honest with you. Like, I am so confused. I'm so frustrated. God, I don't know. And so, like, even this morning as I'm folding laundry, I'm like, okay, God, I'm telling you, here's where I'm at. You promised us this. At least this is what I was thinking. And you lined it up and it was all going, and it's not played out at all how I had it pictured. Now, I'd love to come to you today and be like, okay, guys, so yeah, just so you know, like all of a sudden God just showed me how it's all going to work and it's going to be amazing. It's not. It's not what he's showing me. What he's showing me is, in it, do I still trust him no matter what? Do I still claim the peace that he is? Now, in Ephesians, I'm doing a Bible study and we talk about how he is our peace. He is our peace. When you have a relationship with Jesus, you get to walk out. He is our peace. In fact, it talks about in Ephesians also is putting on the armor of God, and one of those is putting on the footwear, the sandals of peace, because he is our peace. No matter what happens, he is our peace. And so as I've been in this weird little funk, I've had to create awareness of why am I in this? Because life is not playing out exactly how I had thought it would. And I know it doesn't usually, but I thought by now God would be like, okay, I'll finally give you what you need. It's not happened. But in it, as I've created this level of awareness, going, okay, here's how I'm feeling, and I'm acknowledging it, I'm recognizing it, I'm not stuffing it, I'm acknowledging it, I'm creating awareness with it. This is the kicker, you guys, and oh, I hope you hear this. When you acknowledge it and you become aware of it, you end up automatically creating a fork in the road. You get to either choose which path you want to go down. And this is so powerful, you guys. You have a choice. You will hear me say this over and over again. You have a choice in so many things. In the perspective that you look at in anything, you have a choice. You have a choice in your attitude. You have a choice in how you respond to things. So when you create this level of awareness, now you have a choice. Do you go down the woe is me and do you stay with it? Do you let your mind just go and you just let negative thoughts all of a sudden? It's like you could let the floodgates open of negative thoughts, and do you stay in it? Or do you say, no, 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 I recognize that God is my peace. He has things in store for me. I trust him and I surrender to him. So which path do you go? Do you go down the negative and say, God, you failed me? Or do you go down I'm just going to ignore it. I'm ignoring it. I mean, I created some awareness, but no, 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 I'm going to go back and hide. I'm going to go back and hide. Or do you shift and say, God, thank you for the awareness. I will continue to renew my mind. I will continue to trust in you, and I will continue to live with intention and purpose. And I will align my expectations. I will get rid of my expectations and I will align it with being expectant on you. And this is what's so powerful is today I choose. I'm not going down with those negative thoughts. I'm not going to let them flood me and go, where are you, God? Instead, and I'm not going to go with, ooh, yep, I recognize it. Now I'm going to run and avoid it. God, I recognize how I feel. I do recognize that there's this anxiety that's coming up, this overwhelmingness that's coming up. And part of me just wants to scream and say, God, where are you? Why have you forsaken? Remember, David even did that. In Psalms, oftentimes there's those crying out, even Job said, God, where are you? What is going on? And here's when you do share that, when you create that level of awareness and you're honest with the Lord, the power in that, you guys, is you are allowing yourself to be vulnerable. God already knows it. He knows what you're thinking and feeling, but you are creating that trust with Him to say, God, help me. I'm feeling this and I'm stressed and I'm worried and I'm overwhelmed. Help me. And this is the beauty of it. As you step into this awareness and as you choose which direction you go, you are going to lay a stronger foundation of changing and living with purpose. Every part of me today even wanted to be like, I don't even want to do this podcast in a sense of like, I don't feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be able to do this podcast. And God said, whoa, 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 you're on this journey and take people on it. So here I am sharing with you guys that you have to trust Him and you have to live it even when you don't want to. So I've acknowledged my feelings. I've addressed them. I've been said, God, here I am. And now I get back up and I put on my full armor of God and I say, and now I'm walking it out. And God, I'm speaking life and I'm speaking truth. And God, I am growing in you and I am pushing through and not relying on all my emotions that are gunk. And I'm saying, God, I trust you more than that. But the big thing is, I acknowledged it. Do you see what I'm saying? Is the power of acknowledging, creating the awareness, now choosing. It will change everything. It's so powerful. I'm reading this book right now. In between, I have like, oh my gosh, I have so many books I'm reading, but one of them, every once in a while, I like to just read like a fun little easy peasy novel. And this one is written by Francine Rivers, and she is just phenomenal. She's one of my favorite writers and or authors, and it's on Caleb in the Bible. So, I mean, she took obviously some liberties to write this story because, like, we don't know all the details. But if you guys are familiar with Caleb, um, back in the book of Genesis, it's when they've left, he and Joshua are the two that stood on God's promises when the Israelites were taken out of Egypt as slaves, and they are wandering and they go to the promised land, and Moses sends out 12 men to go and look at the land and say, okay, we're ready to go take the promised land. And remember, God freed them. He did all these incredible miracles, and freed them from slavery in the most powerful way. And so they've experienced all this stuff. And then on the journey, they go and they see the giants in the land that they're supposed to claim. And in that, they come back, the 12, and of the 12, only two stood and said, no, God promised us this. It doesn't matter how big they are. It does not matter what it looks like. God promised us this, and we're standing on His promises. 10 others did not do that. And you know what happened? God said, okay, you don't trust me. You don't believe me. You're not trusting on the promises I have given you because I am a God that stands at my word. He made them stay and wander for 40 years in the wilderness. Now, this was like a couple-week journey to the promised land, and yet they had to wander for 40 years. They had a level of awareness. God created, He showed them the way. He showed them how He was God and could do anything. They saw it. He demonstrated over and over again. They let their emotions and their feelings control them. They go and they see all that's going on. They see the giants out there and they say, not going to happen. And because of that, they did not trust God. He took them to the fork in the road. He created the awareness, and they got there and they went, we don't trust you, God. And God said, okay, there's your path you just chose. Now there's 40 years. Now Caleb and Joshua, He said, you will get to see the promised land. Now, here's the cool part of the story that Francine Rivers wrote. Now, I don't know how much this lines up with scripture, but it sounds pretty powerful and it makes a lot of sense. But I've not done a lot of research on it. I'm just sharing you with the story. In the story, then it talks about how they then, after the 40 years, you think, and I've always had this in my head, after the 40 years, they just get to go and walk on in, and now they get to just relax. And that's not what happened. They actually had to go and claim the land, and they actually had to take the land. And it took them a couple of years of taking the land. It didn't just happen overnight. Now, God did miracle after miracle after miracle. That included the story of Jericho. If you guys have not read it, you need to read it because it talks about how they walked around this city, this massive city, 7 days. And God literally crumbled the walls of it. They didn't even have to lift a sword. So God does miracle after miracle, but it still took work. It still took them committing to it and walking through it. Now, in the process, Caleb is crying, God, where are you? And like, but he stood firm. There were moments he said, God, and he acknowledged it. But then he stood on the promises of who God is and what he said. He was not shaken. He acknowledged, but he moved on. And I will tell you, as you begin to live a life of purpose with intention, creating awareness, strengthening your identity in who you are, this is not going to be an easy journey, but it is a powerful one and it is worth pushing through. I'm making a commitment to you today that I will not easily be shaken, that I am committed to this purpose and this journey and taking you on this journey with me, no matter what. Because I know that it's not always going to be easy, but I'm going to commit and push through. When I come to the forks in the road, I'm going to choose to keep going. I'm not going to give up. I challenge you today to do the same. Do not let the things of life come your way and strip you and do not let your mind stay there. Get grounded in the word. It's so powerful, you guys. Also, we have our first special guest this week. On Friday, we have an amazing friend of mine, Deanna Beckett. She is just coming out with her second book. She is also a coach, a motivational speaker. She is just phenomenal in what God is doing in her life, how he is just doing amazing things through her and in her. It is so cool. And this book, oh my goodness, I am so excited about this book. It's going to be amazing. And so I want you guys to mark it on your calendar. Friday, we will be dropping that episode. It is going to be powerful. You do not want to miss it. Make sure to tell other friends about this. And same with just the podcast itself, you guys. If this is stirring in you, if you are connecting to this, I'm asking you to share it with others, to say, hey, listen to this podcast. You might get something from it because lives are being changed when we begin to realize what our purpose is. So with that being said, here we go. Thank you for listening to The Purpose Effect. If today's episode spoke to you, share it with a friend, subscribe on YouTube, and help us spread this movement of purpose-driven living. And remember, you're called, you're capable, and you're created with intention. Now go and live it.